Appointments to City of Pacific Civil Service Commission.
So as council can see in your packet, we did have an applicant. We've had the civil service position posted until filled. We did have an applicant, Harry Robinson. As a matter of fact, civil service met last Wednesday. I invited Harry if he wanted to come to the civil service meeting and see how it runs. He did attend and filled out the application that night. As you can see, he's a long-term resident of the City of Pacific. He's also a firefighter with the Valley Regional Fire Authority, and he's firefighter of the year. But anyway, I think he's a great candidate. I would recommend that council approve that. I told him he didn't really need to be here tonight. He was going to be working, but if council had any questions, I would ask if he could be here next week if you have questions.
Any discussion? What's council's pleasure? Next on the agenda, interview of applicants for council vacancy.
So, as you know, we're filling the vacancies that has been vacated by Councilmember Holtby. We had the position posted for 2 weeks. It ended on the 25th. We received 4 applicants. We've invited all 4 applicants to come to tonight's meeting to give a brief introduction to council. With council's pleasure, I thought maybe we would just go down the list as they appear in your packet and ask them up to the podium to address the council for 3 to 5 minutes. And so with that, we would start with Katie Garberdine.
Garberdine, 366 White River Drive. Having previously been appointed to the Pacific City Council in August of last year, if you would have me, I would be honored to come back and help to move the city forward. Granted, my previous term was only under 5 months, and I did not assist much in changing the world, but I learned much of how the city functions and was very proud to be part of such a group that has the ability to build and protect the community in which I have made my home. Some of my qualifications are I've been a resident of Pacific for 5 years. I volunteer my time, money, donations with the Senior Center and other various city functions and fundraisers. I'm a registered voter in the city and in the county. I've been attending council meetings for over 3.5 years, missing only a few. I have a strong sense of my community and the ability to organize and facilitate. I have the ability to speak my mind and stand up for what is just, sometimes too much. I have the ability to carry out the above in a professional manner, usually. I have no felonies or arrests, yet. And lastly, I have a great desire to participate in keeping our city on a healthy, functional, and positive track, and I look forward to working with you all. Do you have any questions of me?
Any questions?
I think I've kind of interviewed from the previous times she had, and I'm looking at her statements and what she just read, so I can't think of anything else to say at this point.
So, why did you run last time? Out of curiosity.
The main reason I didn't run the last time is because I would have had to have run as a write-in, and knowing how the write-in went last time, I just didn't feel that that was something that I wanted to attempt at that time. That is my only reason.
With that, would you, whether you were selected for the open position or not, would you then still be interested in running in the next term?
Yes.
Any other questions, sir?
What's your biggest issue that you fight for the council, that you're driven towards? You were here on Saturday, so what's your issue?
I don't think I have one issue that stands out in my mind at the moment.
Or area of focus, parks, police?
If I had my druthers, it would be streets. And focusing on the possibility of turning this into our big city park. I have the same issues as others do with the security and the safety and the warm, fuzzy feeling of being in a 8-foot fenced-in park. I don't like that too much.
If you're appointed to the council, what would your top 3 selections for community be?
Oh, yes. I would like public safety. I would like finance. Human resources. That's 3. Okay, I win.
Any other questions? All righty. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
The next applicant would be Howard Gustafson.
Good evening, my name is Howard Gustafson. I think most of you know me. I live on County Line Road. I've been living there, for 40 years at the same address, but the address has changed four times. And I began being interested in the council when we were being invited to become a part of the city of Pacific. And I had a few situations where someone wanted to build on some land. They were only going to be 5 feet away from my property line. I thought it should be 10. So I came down, talked to the council, and somehow or other, it wasn't too long before the mayor called up and he said, "Would you like to be on the planning commission?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't even know what it is." And he said, "Well, would you serve if you're selected?" I said, "Yes." So, lo and behold, the council at the time put me on the planning commission. I've been on it for 14 years, but during that time, I've never really thought too seriously about being on the city council because I was involved in a couple of other organizations, and it took a lot of my time, and in nights where I had to be somewhere else other than here. But lately, I've reduced myself from some of those obligations, and I've been able to attend council meetings for some time now. And when the opportunity came, I tried last October, and you turned me down. And so I'll remind you of that. But I thought I'd try one more time. And so I think that over my 14 years, I've been able to become acquainted with many of the issues that exist here in the city. And I thought it would be nice to get on the city council, to move up just a little bit. I don't know all the answers to the questions. The biggest thing I think right now, as far as you're facing, I listened to the other comments, and that's the marijuana issue. And that's the one that I think is most predominant as far as you folks are concerned. There are a lot of little things that I had to learn. Some things I learned that the law says this, and so you have to vote along with what the law says if you want to get along. So, with that.
Yeah, Howard, as being on the council, what kind of expectations do you expect from being a council member, and what area are you interested in? It's like they said, are you interested in the city streets, or our plumbing problem, or water system? What kind of issues that interest you as far as being a council?
Well, I retired from Boeing in corporate finance, and so I have a financial background as far as planning was concerned, and as far as the activities are concerned. And I retired, as I say, from corporate finance. And after that, I worked as an internal auditor for an organization for 16 years. And and I've also been in industrial engineering, but that was when I first started to work at Boeing.
So again, as a council member, would that background involve your history, or work history? What kind of things would you be interested in as a council member?
I think that finance would be a field that I should be interested in, seeing as I have some experience in it. And I'm still on the finance committee of my home church. And I've been finance chair of a local school district for a number of years, which fortunately I've done my term there because one of the rules in that organization was as long as you had children, you can serve. But my last grandchild is no longer there, and so they said, well, we want some younger people as students in our school, so therefore we don't need you any longer.
I don't want anybody else, though. Question like I asked Katie, with this being a replacement term till the end of 2015, that would you then be interested in running for council? Because this is just being appointed, and so would you consider running then for the council?
Well, to be truthful with you, I haven't crossed that bridge yet, because, like I say, I was here last August or September, and I didn't make it. And so I'm sort of in betwixt and between to say whether I would run for another position or not. But I do have interest in it, and the good Lord willing, and I'm healthy, I would probably have to say yes, I would try.
Okay, thank you.
What do you see as the biggest challenge as a council member?
I think the biggest challenge is trying to figure out all the things that go on. One of the things that I had to learn was whether or not we have a little strip between a sidewalk and the road when you put in new housing. And I thought, why should we be worried about that on the planning commission? But it came up, and sure enough, we had to vote whether the sidewalk was right along the curb or whether we had to have space for it, 3 or 4 feet. And so that was part of my learning experience. Another part was when it came down to determining lot sizes. My feeling was everybody should have 8,000 square feet if they're going to live in a city and own their own house. If you go over and look on Fifth Avenue now, that's not the case anymore. And I would have voted against it, but I was told that the law says that we have to do thus and so. And so if you don't vote that way, we'll get sued and we'll lose. So I had a little bit of learning to do through the years as far as learning about city government and how it works. Yes?
What 3 committees would you choose to be on if you could choose?
I haven't really thought about that, to be truthful with you. Like I say, my background is finance, but I guess that where there's a need and you think that I could function, I would be happy to try.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Howard. The next applicant is Richard Woodall, and I don't think I see him here this evening. So we will move on to our 4th applicant, which would be Michael Hollenbeck.
Good evening.
I prepared no statement. I thought this was going to be more of a question session than anything. I've been a resident of Pacific for just a little over 2 years. I was brought here through some unfortunate circumstances, and when I landed here, I was really surprised at what kind of a city you actually have here. It's beautiful. You've got some great people. You're having your problems, but most every municipality right now is. One thing I do see that you're ahead of the game on is that you appear to be in black ink every year. It's a good thing. There are some issues that I'd like to see addressed, public safety. I'd like to work with your parks department. I have a degree in horticulture. I'm probably more qualified to mow the lawns at the park and clean out the back of the patrol cars than I am to actually be on the city council. I spent 15 years as a detailer. I've had to do inventory control for years. I've been in charge of $3.5 million with a new car inventory at any given time, and I've never made more than $14 an hour in the car business. So, I dedicated myself to it. My bosses were impressed, happy, and the economy took its turn in 2008. The car business died in Spokane. So I ended up here through the good graces of a friend and absolutely fell in love with your town. It's not to say I haven't had my issues, but I'm understanding. I know that there are problems that need to be addressed. But I would love to work with the Public Safety Commission, and I would love to work with the Parks Department here. If there's any questions?
You talk about the, interested in assisting, with the police department, rebuilding it. What kind of ideas do you think you could bring?
I'm not sure what exactly is going on over there, Mr. Jones, to be honest with you. I'm having problems from the street level through the echelon. I can make assumptions, I can make guesses because of what I've been through in life, but I don't think that's fair to make those assumptions and guesses. I'd rather take what we've got there and see if we can't fill it or fix it or plug the hole, or if there is even a hole there. But if there's someone that doesn't want to be there, or, you know, time's to move on, it may be time to move on. I know you're having problems in other aspects of this, and I've talked to other people in this community, and they're not very happy. I got that response, and I figured that out from the speech I gave last week. So I'm not here to ridicule them, I'm not here to hurt them, and I understand what kind of a job they have. It's not easy. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I was on the supply side of crime once, so I see that perspective as well. Now, I cleaned up my act years ago. I made huge strides to get my life put back together. I've overcome a lot of adversity. But right now, I think I need to continue to fight on a little bit.
Other than public safety, what do you think of challenges, or what challenges do you think the city faces?
There could be some street repair. I know there's some economic problems that need to go on here. There's decisions that need to be made on certain properties. I would like to see some of those overcome as quickly as possible so you can get your tax revenue back to where you think it should be. I'm not sure how everybody stands on the marijuana issue here, and I'm not sure where that would settle with you folks. I'd have to look into that a little bit more. But I think, quite frankly, you from location, the group of people that you have living here, you're kind of in a very quiet diamond sitting in a spot that, quite frankly, not very many people know about. I don't know if you can take advantage of that or not in this community or in this area, but there's some great people here. I've been impressed, very impressed. 48 years in Spokane, and I come over here and I was welcomed. And essentially, I showed up here as a drifter. So, not just by my friends, but the store, walking through the park, I get a wave and a hello. That impresses me. I'd like to be part of that. I'd like to see that grow. And then I think everything else would probably fall into place over there.
Other questions? I'm listening.
Anything else, folks? Feel free. My life is an open book. I'm going to come right out and tell you. There are things that need to be. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I'll ask the same question I asked everybody else. If you were selected and in 2015, would you consider running for the position?
I would consider it, yes, sir. I would make the changes in my life that would need to be made to fulfill that position if I were elected.
Any further questions?
Council, Mayor, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All righty. Next on the agenda, legal services interview.